Mhm.
Hi, I'm Erica Van Eaton. You can find me at ericavanEatonhealing.com, and this is my beautiful friend Jennifer. And sometimes we like to record our sessions, our friend just routinely chat sessions because they always lead to magical places. We have the same kind of human design profile, a 4-1, and she's a projector and I'm a generator. So it usually works really well together when we play. Um, And I don't think either of us are sure where we're headed today, but we can feel the energy that's quite expansive. And so, right before I hit record, you were saying something about the mind and releasing to step into our divinity.
Right. Like, and that's the fun part that when Eric and I get together, that it is play because jumping into and saturating into divinity, like the mind can't get there. And that's what I love about Erica's work is that it's experiential and we go somewhere because I play in that space a lot. And then that's just all mental. So when we can jump and really expand and we never know where we're going because that's beyond it's beyond our mind and just saturate there, then that's where all the stuff comes up. That's why we don't know where we're ever know where we're going because we're jumping into the unknown, we're jumping into the void and trusting that that's where the divinity plays. That's how we get there, not with our mental processes, or which are beautiful and sometimes that's what people need, but this work that you do, we get there a different way.
Thank you. You know, this reminds me of the class that we just worked on with bilocating and the importance of it. And I think one thing, the reason why I always feel called to take us on a journey somewhere is because it does pull a lot of our energy out of these things that are external, but they're consuming a lot of our energy. And this is a time period where I've been talking relentlessly about self-consumption. And the reason being, I mean, there's many reasons, but it gives us the ability to place our awareness on our multi-dimensional selves and not this physicality that we are. When we get stressed or in a place of rotating shame or lack or feel or fear, insecurity, whatever it is, this external trigger, we tend to converge our focus. And so it's almost like our energy becomes like this narrowed cone. And it's so intense and it wraps our thoughts and our emotions around it, making that thing bigger. And sometimes that thing gets so big that it feels bigger than us and it makes us feel small. And we're wanting to reroute that and make this external thing really small and our energy really big. The bigger that we play, the broader our perceptions are, the more resolutions that we come to, the different kind of alternate realities concerning our environment we can play in because we're extending ourselves to a different dimensional perspective, just meaning a different wavelength of energy that we're playing in, which gives us the ability to make changes because we can actually see what needs to shift and change and we can see the route to get there.
Yeah.
Whereas when we're so dialed in and so focused in, we can't see it. We can't see what we need to shift. We can't see any other route to broaden the experience because it's all so narrow.
Ah, that was beautiful. Yeah, it's like we know how to be human. We're really good at that. But we have to go play and just allow the divinity to be there because that's just not something we know how to do. And most people don't know how to get, again, to make that leap. So I love what you're saying is that it's through the expansion we get there, not this dialing in that we do in our earth suit here.
Yeah. I think we should just take people on an experience.
Let's do
Okay.
that.
Okay. So the other day we were actually playing with something, and I think that would be fun to play with here. We were playing with the infinity sign, but instead of using, okay, the infinity sign is the figure 8. And instead of utilizing it in a vertical manner, like going up around the head, through the heart, down through the root, we can do that. And they actually are finding, doing clinical studies on utilizing figure eights, the infinity sign, on reducing pain and pain management in the body, which is fascinating.
Wow.
So, okay. So imagine this is your head and these are your feet. We're going to crisscross at the heart, taking a loop in front of us and then out behind us. Now, every time we start to move it, we're going to change the direction just a little bit. And so it starts to fan out in a circle all the way around us, which will end up in the flower of life. But I want people to feel what that feels like to bring your energy home back to your heart.
Mm.
Sometimes when we're working on a vertical plane, people are often talking about grounding and we ground up and we ground down, but that can also pull us out of our bodies because we have so much energy going down or so much energy going up. We want to come back home and feel the bigness that we are. So does that
And
feel fun?
Erica, that touches on just the theme that you've brought out is the self-consumption, that we're coming back through home and going back out, that it is a different way to consume our energy. Because I mean, like I said, I've typically only been taught to go this way. And so going this way is a whole, it's like growth is in the direction you haven't gone. So let's go this way and see what happens. But we're still coming through and consuming and then going back out. We're
Yes.
coming home where we are grounded and then going back out.
Yes. Perfect. And it's as though we're grounding into our own energy field. And if we feel so safe and so confident to ground into ourselves, that's going to trigger a whole different chemical response in us and begin to open up, a genome that hasn't been read before, a gene sequence in us that hasn't been read before. So let's try it. Let's play. So coming into the heart space, we're going to begin to run figure eight, run a big loop out in front of you. So it's coming from your heart, looping out to the front of your energy field. And most people's energy fields is anywhere between 6 to 9 feet. So this is where we just turn on our play and our imagination. And then you bring it back through the heart and then you loop it behind you to the back of your energy field. And then the next time you loop it through, take it a few degrees to the right or to the left. And the same as it goes out behind you. And we're just going to keep weaving and working our way around. And then you'll notice as you're working this infinity sign behind you and in front of you, when you get to different areas in your energy field, it can feel a little tight, or you're like, oh, I feel pain there where I didn't feel pain before. So you don't need to figure out what it is in this moment. Just breathe and allow.
And Erica, along those lines, I'm noticing that at some of the points, the color changes. Like I'm seeing colors. I don't know if other people are, but just noticing that there was a color change when we switched into kind of like another quadrant.
Perfect. Yes, just keep letting us know what you see. And actually, what they're asking us to do now, and Jesus is reminding us, like, this is the fish that we see, like, on the back of the cars, on all the things. He's going to extend this out past, keep working on this infinity loop, the same directions, like in front of you and behind you, weave it all the way horizontally through you. But now we're going to make the next round even bigger. It's going to go beyond your energy field. So the loop in front of you is going into the next dimensional field, basically. Good. Now, if you don't feel anything, it's okay. If you don't see anything, it's okay. It's all about intention. Energy goes where intention is. So if you're intending for this pattern to occur, it's occurring, and you have to trust that. Some people are more clairaudient, some are very claircognizant, and claircognizance can be something that's a little difficult to touch at first or to trust at first because it comes in as your own knowing. And that's where playing with someone or working with someone can help. You begin to build that trust with yourself that can give you that validation of what you're seeing, sensing, feeling, or knowing. Now I can feel a resistance. Well, I was going to just say restriction, but it came out resistance. In the back of the neck area for some people that are going to be listening to this, there's like a exit blowhole. I call it like your steam hole on the back of your neck where your neck meets your shoulder blades. This is a big energy exit. So we're going to clear all the gunk out of the spine. I'm going to unplug that hole and pull all that energy up. Why is that unlocking and opening? Because of the infinity sign. And the different frequencies that we're bringing in is activating a different part of your body.
It's interesting, Erica, that you use the word blowhole, because I feel like the whales, like if you've ever sewn a button and you've got to go in those same two holes every time, that's like that infinity point and it's secure. But as they go out, they're going so far that our mind has lost track of them. But it's almost like dolphins, like there's this signal that whales and dolphins send out. That's because it's going so far, we don't know where it's going, but there's almost a tracking device so that it comes right back and weaves back around to itself. So that's what I'm sensing as we're moving now into other galaxies where our mind can't really, or mind isn't being able to picture it yet, but there's a sound.
I think that was brilliantly explained. It is like an echo. So the signals we send out is an echo, and it does come back home to us because it carries a piece of our soul frequency. And because of harmonic resonance, like attracts like, it's always going to come back home. So when we are communicating with the angelic realm, when we're sensing Jesus or Mother Mary or Buddha, whomever that person is that you pray to, is pure source energy or whatever word that you have, Jesus is bringing through a very, he's kind of laughing. So they are formless. So the dimensional realms that they mostly reside in, they're very high frequency realms of light. But it's as long as we become quiet, they're always echoing back to us the answers to our questions. And it's always coming to us in the form of an echo because we are an aspect of them. So our prayers find them easily because we carry the same energy. We all came from the same source creator. We're all aspects of the divine. Now, when people have had, the word is escaping me, when people have seen physically, have seen an angel or have seen Jesus or have seen, the Divine Mother, it takes a lot of compressed energy for them to come and be in that form. Somebody was asking this question. I can feel it coming in. So when we look at dimensional fields, each dimension carries a range of frequencies. There's portals of access between the dimensions, and we can go in between the dimensions by attuning to the middle vibration of whatever's in this dimension, whatever's in this dimension, and we kind of float in between. So if Jesus is wanting to come down and he's going to come in physical form to give the illusion that he's here, he's having to condense his energy slower and slower and slower so that our physical eyes could actually see. So the same way they can do that, we can do the reverse, and we do the reverse all the time. We're just not aware of it. Right. So what we're doing with does that make sense?
Yes, that is brilliant. Because then, I think before we see that as, oh, untouchable, I can't do that. We're doing that right now.
That's
That's what
exactly.
we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing we utilize the infinity signs to expand our energy out. It raised our vibration because we are attuning ourselves through this rhythm and through this symbol to more and more expansive fields of light. So there's an aspect of you that is hanging out in maybe the 12th dimensional field right now, while at the same time, you can find your belly button on your body. And so that's the awareness of bilocating. We are here, but we're also out there. And when we expand our awareness to something that is much further beyond, we're pulling our energy out of the old stories from the past. We're pulling our energy out of the stressors that we have in our lives, which give us the ability to write something new, to script something new, to see it differently.
And it's like those, because I did see with my eyes wide open an angel, it's been years ago. And so when you said that, just condense, 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 it's kind of like those pictures where they look like nothing, but if you just soften your eyes and you just let everything go and kind of expand, it can come forward. That's what I hear you saying, or that's just a practical way of what I hear you explaining and teaching.
That's exactly right. When I was little, I saw Mother Mary in the doorway of my room, and it was the same. Like, I don't know if you remember what it felt like when you saw that angel. When I
I'm
saw Mother Mary,
terrified.
you were terrified.
It was huge.
Angels are massive, especially archangels. They're usually around 12 feet tall when people see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mother Mary, she was as tall as my doorway, but I just remember the love that I felt. It was the most comforting, nurturing feeling that I'd ever had in my entire life. And it knocked me out, and I went right to sleep, and I slept so deeply, so soundly. And when I woke up in the morning, I had just the most nurturing feelings stayed with me throughout the day. But it's that condensed, slow down, but it's not as though they lost their magic when they condensed so that we could see them. Their magic was still there. So we have magic. We have always had magic. We just forgot. I sent out this email today, and the first paragraph was the story of a research that someone did on fleas. Fleas can normally jump like over 100 times their height. So this man put a bunch of fleas in a jar and they were jumping out. So he quickly put the lid on and screwed it shut. And then he left the fleas in there for 3 days. After 3 days, he unscrewed the lid and the fleas didn't jump out. They forgot that they could jump out of the jar. The new hatched fleas didn't even try to jump out. They forgot that they could. So the same thing has happened to humanity. We forgot our magic and we forgot how big we are. But it's through these everyday practices of expanding our energy that gives us back that awareness of, oh, I really can do this. I really can heal. I really can come into a state of ease. I really can move through this pain with grace. It doesn't have to be this hard, long, drawn out thing. But I think we're really scared to be all in.
And Erica, a couple things. So the other thing I've noticed in this experience we've just done too is that you talked about a feeling. I was seeing colors. We were talking about the sound, like the mind couldn't really see in those dimensions. But I mean, we're talking about we've still got sight, we've still got sound. We may feel something very powerful, like all that's part of the magic. And so, because I've been on a huge healing journey, and so part of um it's like, which lens are we looking through for that healing journey? Because where we started with, you talked about, this very narrow way in our human force that we're focusing things, we're either tapping, we're doing our affirmations, we're doing all these beautiful things. And um, when we expand and go into these places, the mind kind of thinks, and I love that you use the word play, there's not really a lot to do, but as we just go there, things happen. And that's beautiful because it takes us out of, okay, I got to do this. And then, okay, can I see an angel? Okay, we get into, or I did get into these steps we need to do. The beauty of this as we expand and loosen our perspective and our focus, it's just all that's already there rushing in. And that's why I love the word just saturate there. That is the magic. Like the
That
mind
is,
doesn't have to catch up and know what you're doing and intend this and think about this and be sure to take a salt bath after. And I mean, those are all great things and part of it, but I'm just noticing, um, again, we talked about, the mind can't go there. We're really good at being human. But when we start to play in this just extravagant abundance, that's magic. That's what you offer. That's so beautiful. Both are necessary. Um, but wow, I mean, I'm just tingling now.
I think what you said was extraordinary, that we don't have to do when we're expanding that much. It's just play. And what else can we come up with? But it's not as though we're trying to come up with it. It's just random words will pop in your head and you'll be like, oh, well, what's that about? And then we follow that. And that gives us a whole nother perspective. And instead of being consumed by the humanness, by all the steps, by the mantras, by the do this, we got to do that kind of thing. In our healing journeys, throughout spirituality, people get overwhelmed. Like we're just freaking overwhelmed. Am I doing this right? Am I doing it enough? Am I meditating enough? If I'm not meditating right, you know what? The universe does not freaking care. Nobody cares. Nobody, Jesus, nobody cares. You know what they love? They love when you let go.
Yes.
I love when you let go because when you let go, frick, so much information and energy and the dreams and the desires that you've been wanting come forward. But
Yeah,
until we let go, they can't come in. And so it's like they're like, beating a brick wall with us, with we're asking and they're giving, but we're the ones not letting it in.
exactly. I love that. It's really more about letting go and allowing than trying at all. And that's okay. I think we're maybe the level of consciousness we needed to go through all those things, but there's so much available now. And um yeah, I mean, I can still get, like, caught up in, the new latest and greatest thing that everybody should be doing, and we have to remember that, okay, that may be great, but this is always available, and what I love that's come out today as well is it just happened as we were doing it. This, they have to condense to come here, we expand to go there. There's the equality.
Yeah.
That is who we are. That is how we already operate. There's no, well, can I get there? Can I do that? They're better than I am. I don't know how. It's, it's kind of like the accordion. It's just, you can expand. You can expand. And the more we play with that and see that, oh, that is me, that is my nature, as much as, all the crazy stuff I do in my humanity and I mean, getting nervous or whatever, but I'm also amazingly divine and abundant and glorious and fruitful already. And
Already.
so I love that you brought that out. You kind of like, and I was raised in a Christian where, I mean, that was like the untouchable. The divinity is totally separate. That is what you pray to. That is not, I can't associate with that. But what you just uncovered is no, that is you.
Yeah.
That is you.
It's
Uh,
always been you. But
So
it
that
is.
again takes down any barrier of us having to do the right thing to be able to do this. And that's what I love about your work. Let's just play. We'll see where we go.
It is play. Thank you. And it's not to say that we're not going to do action steps after. We'll do the action steps that we're being shown or that we know we need to do. But to find the right action steps, to feel the right action steps, we have to let go. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts my kids gave me was the ability to play and the reminder daily to play. I mean, when they're not playing, I know something's wrong.
Mhm.
When they're not playing out on the sports field, then they're tight and they're making errors or whatever. But when they're in a state of play, everything flows. Things fall their way. New experiences come in. They get asked to do these magical things that like I'd never dreamed of with friends or something. That is, and so I just was like studying that for a while and feeling disconnected. Like, why is it so easy when we're young to
Mhm.
manifest? And then it gets harder when we get older. And part of it is the stories that we get wrapped up in and the things that we think are so important, that takes up, that converges our focus. But this whole time as we're growing up, what's the one thing that we forget to do? We forget to play. We forget to play like kids do. And when you see those people that it seems like life is just rolling for them so easily, watch them. They're
Mhm.
usually in a state of play. They're like, well, let's make this fun, let's make this something interesting. That is something not to discount, but something to be valued. So this was fun.
Yeah,
I
and think about every child is a superhero. Like we come in knowing we're magical and we can jump, we think, we can jump off buildings and we have that imagination and we kind of know. And you're right, life just kind of, condenses us down to these little doing doers instead of beers. But and I love what you said too. I just wanted to go back and capture that. It's like when a woman wants to get pregnant and that's all the energy is trying to get pregnant, and then they either go on a vacation or they decide they're gonna adopt and then she's pregnant. It's not that I love what you said. It's not that there is action to take. We have bills to pay and we live in this. It's amazing that we get to live in these bodies and be on this third dimensional, fourth dimensional plane, but it really is where the answers come from. Like when we allow and let go, that's the juice and where we can take the highest action from. So thank you for, saying there is definitely action, but where it comes from is key.
Exactly. What foundational frequency are you building your life from? Why not play? Play expands us into infinite possibilities, into new ideas. And we all want something better for the planet. Everyone here wants something better than what we've been doing in the past. And that's going to require play and for us to play hard.
Yeah. I just had this vision. Can you imagine the United States? Like if we had Congress and the Senate playing dodgeball? I mean,
Oh my God, that'd be
just,
so amazing. Yes.
it's just, I used to go to these, I don't even know what they were called, but they're all grown-ups and we would play. You know, I know it has a structure and name, but it's not coming to me. But it was so freeing because as adults, we get serious and we have tasks and we have things to do. And just stepping back into play can shift a lot of things for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, I'm grateful that you took the time to play with me today. So thank you.
absolutely.
And if you guys have any questions or comments, you can hit the like button below, share it, write your questions. You guys know that I read all of those questions and comments. And until next time, thank you for being here and remember to play.